When we finished the project, I became the project now. We broke the news to my son. And I saw how my son broke.
Hello, good people. It's Maggie's show again. So welcome to Sound Breeze TV. My name is Margaret Modoni, and today we are talking about heartbreak. This is a place where you get entertained. We talk about breakups and heartbreaks. Anything that you're going through, you can talk to us. This is a talk show. And follow us to all our social media platforms at Sound Breeze TV on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you will find us. Just search Sound Breeze TV and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
You're welcome.
My name is Winnie Musera. Yes.
Okay, her name is Winnie Musera. Winnie, I'm sure you have a story for us today. So, what is it? Is it a breakup story or what is it?
Mine is a heartbreak. Yeah. And as I said, my name is Winnie Musera, and I'm a mother.
A mother.
Used to be a wife. I'll come to the word used. Yes, and I recently lost my husband.
Okay.
Yes.
So today we are actually talking about a marriage. She's a mother of two beautiful kids, as you have said.
Exactly.
So we are so happy that you came to share the story with us, and welcome to our show. So follow us, and yeah, this is a journey. We are going to work together with Winnie as she talks to us on her story and her two amazing kids. We are so glad that they're there. Yeah, and she has said she lost her husband. So go with us. Let us move on. So Winnie, you've said that you used to be a wife.
Yes.
And you're a mother of two.
Yes.
So maybe we go back to the story before. So how did you meet? How was the journey of love with your husband and everything?
I met my husband through my brother, my big brother.
Yeah.
Yes, I was in year 3. I was doing my project. I'm a civil engineer by profession.
Wow.
So I was doing my project when those projects that you do when you're in third year. So I was looking for somebody who could help me with design. I wasn't good in design, so I wanted somebody to help me. And since my brother is an alumni of Kenya Polytechnic, I decided to call him. Can you please help me with my project because I have problems in design? So he told me he has his friend that is very good in design. So that's how I met my husband through my brother. They were friends, they were classmates.
So you were actually looking for a person to help you design your project on your third year, as you have said.
Yes.
You are a civil engineer by profession. So guys, here we have a civil engineer in the house. And so, yeah, you met and...
So my brother introduced, he told me about his friend that he'll help me with the project, and he's very good. Actually, he was good in design. So we exchanged numbers, and he told him about me. He requested if he could help me with my project because I was running out of time, and I was supposed to submit. Yeah. So that's how I met Ibrahim, my husband.
Wow, so you're here facing a deadline.
Yes.
And you're here searching for a designer guy.
Yes.
And finally, your brother brought someone to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you met Ibrahim,
So
exchanged numbers.
Yes, so he helped me with the project. Then, as my brother jokes around, is that when we finished the project, I became the project now.
Now, okay.
Yes. So I met Ibrahim in 2012, the last third term, the last semester. In 2012, when I was doing my project, he helped me with my project. Then feelings started growing. So this day I called my brother and I'm telling my brother, bro, you've brought me your friend, but he's going to be my husband one day. He's a good person. You see, so my brother scolded me like a big brother. You have brought you, my friend. We friends, we don't date each other's sisters. So, yeah, he'll be the first one to break the brother code. I don't know what men's code is.
Yeah.
So I jokingly said that. So upon meeting and doing projects and him helping me around with the project and everything, he asked me out for a date.
Wow.
Can we have lunch? Now that is after I submitted my project. Can we have lunch? And I was so excited. I think my sisters my sister saw the excitement in the bedroom that I'm going for lunch. So I was so excited. Finally, he's seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went for lunch. He was just a normal guy. He was coming up and I would say, you see, where nowadays the girls of nowadays say that tunaangalia mfuko. Me, I genuinely loved him without nothing.
So you started developing feelings for him during the project?
Yes.
And now he has asked you out?
Yes.
You were so excited about it?
I was so excited. You know, you can't explain that feeling. Yes. So we went, we had our first lunch. I remember we had chipo and kuku. And we had nothing to talk about. Yes.
You had nothing to talk about?
Because you're all tensed. Yes, you're all tensed. You don't know whether to, when I say this, you know, when your mind is running, if I say this, maybe I'll write off myself from him.
You don't
so you just, but we had lunch and I went home. So we gained confidence in texting. You see. So we texted each other. We met for a few drinks. And I met him. He was supposed to be flying out. So he'd resigned. According to him, when he was telling me, he was to go outside the country. So he'd resigned and he'd sold off his stuff. So he was living at his sister's place, waiting to be flown out, only to get a rejection that he cannot be allowed, a visa rejection. He cannot be allowed to leave the country. So I found him downtrodden. So encouraging him, it's going to be okay. Maybe God has a reason why he had closed that door. One day you'll thank God for it. We started becoming friends and hanging around each other.
So after him helping you go through a project and you presented, then you had to help him go through something that he had faced actually, having sold everything that he owned to fly out of the country. And now he was left to a point of living with his sister. And now the visa has been rejected and you are there for him, his project now. We were each other's project. Okay.
So in the midst of us knowing each other, you know, when you're a young girl, because I was around 20, turning 21, when you are a young girl and you've met somebody that your heart beats for, we tend to think that me sleeping with this guy will be able to keep him. You see?
True.
So we first had our intimate relationship, and I'd secured an internship with Telkom. So I was working for Telkom. So working and meeting him, Fridays going to sleep over at his sister's place. I loved the family because they welcomed him. They were warm towards me. You see, sometimes when I right now when we sit around and we joke so much, I remembered when I was invited to see her sister, he really adored the sister. So I went to their house, to the sister's house, and I was to make chapels. So I'd chochad myself, I know to make chapels, only they backfired on me.
What?
Yes. So they really, I think before we started living with each other, I think it was a joke that we used to make around the house so much. that you cooked chapo and they backfired, and I was like, I was to torture a boy child.
And you were so ready to prepare the chapos. I can imagine
You're
the
so,
excitement.
in your mind, you've already become a wife before you
before you're even introduced.
Exactly. So so we dated for a few, because I met him in August 2012. We dated till 2013. All through, so I was undergoing my internship, meeting him in town, going to sleep over at their places. My dad quarreling me, Friday kifika, your phone is always off, because I knew I had a very strict dad. So since Friday, on Saturday we never used to go to work. So I'll know Friday, when I leave the house, my father's house, I've carried clothes that will take me for sleepover. Exactly. So in the midst of 2013, when we were still hanging around each other, he was such a wonderful guy. He was a warm guy. You see, he was a loving guy. You see, and you finding someone who treats you well, you feel loved.
Yeah, true.
So in the midst of everything, while at my last internship, on my last month, finishing my internship, I discovered that I was pregnant. How did I discover that I was pregnant? This day we were on site, and I felt dizzy. So I'd excused myself from the site manager that I don't feel well. It was on a Friday. So that Friday, we were, the site was inside Kenyatta Hospital.
Okay.
So I excused myself, and I decided, let me check in myself to the hospital. This dizziness I saw, and I don't know why I keep feeling I'm weak and everything. So I'm going to Coptic, and I was going in to be checked for malaria or any other disease.
Yeah.
So they checked me for malaria, I'm okay. So this doc told me, we've tested your blood, you're okay. Can we go in for a pregnancy test? I'm like, pregnancy test? No, I'm not pregnant. I asked him now just to know what's
you're even denied for the test.
Yes. So what's ailing you? I refused, but he convinced me. Do you have money to do an ultrasound? I told them yes. So I paid for the ultrasound. And so when I entered through my ultrasound, I was like, these people just want my money. So when it was my turn, I was called, and they're doing for me an ultrasound. I'm like, you're 13 weeks pregnant. I'm like,
13 weeks. You actually discovered at 13 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm pregnant, and I have a very flat tummy. Where is this baby going from? So that's when it hit me, the excitement, the fear. I don't know what to do. My internship is almost over. I didn't prepare for this. You see, how will he
take it?
Take it with the news and everything.
And your dad?
So, and my dad, being that my dad is very strict, when I came from the gyna, I had mixed emotions. So I went home. Having done the ultrasound, I still thought maybe the ultrasound was not right. Let me take a pregnancy kit for myself. So I went and bought a pregnancy kit, and I tested. And I'm like, let it not come to... You remember, I saw the baby inside my tummy, but here I'm in the toilet telling myself, let it not be 2 lines. Because I'd read the instructions. So it became 2 lines. So the first person I called, it was my bro. Hi, I think I'm pregnant. What do you mean? Yes, I've tested, and I'm even from the hospital. I'm 13 weeks pregnant. Then tell me, who's the father? I tell him, your friend is the father of my child. Have you told him? And then, no, I've not told him, but don't tell him. Let me first digest the news, and then I'll be the one to tell him.
So even after discovering you're pregnant, you first called your brother, not the father of the kid?
No.
But you must have had strict, the reactions, they must have been so much at that point.
my bro is the only one that I told first, but he was like, "Where are you? I took you I helped you with my friend to help you with your project, and you've become a project."
No.
I'm like, shit happens, but your friend is a nice dude. He's telling me, yes, I know my friend is a good person. So what do you plan? I told him, no, I'll be the one to tell him. So I gained courage and I called him. Actually, I didn't call him, I texted him. Hi, can we talk? Then he was like, do this, can you come for sleepover? Then we can talk about whatever you want us to talk about. So I go for sleepover and we meet, and before even we go for sleepover, I tell him, I'm pregnant and I'm 13 weeks. He had mixed reaction.
Yeah.
So he goes and tells the mom and the sister, and everyone was excited. Me, at first, me telling him, I'd already prepared myself. And I'd even told him, it is okay, I can raise this child alone, you don't need to commit. I'd already gone there I'd created a wall first, so that in case he rejects the pregnancy, at least I'd prepared myself. You see.
But it's a good thing your brother had confidence in him.
Yeah, but deep down, I knew, and I was telling God, if you see, when you're building a wall yourself and you're like, God, let him not reject this child. So I tell him, and he was happy, and he was like, it's okay, no, I'm not ready. Right now I'm facing financial situation, but I'm going to be a dad to that child. And he calmed my thoughts and all manner of thoughts that ran through my head and everything. It really calmed me down. So he went and broke the news to the sister and the mother, and everyone was excited. Actually, I received a warmly with the family, because it was only him and the sister and the mom. And they really received me well. So it even gave me the confidence, in case even my dad refuses, at least there are people here
who are there for you.
Yeah, who are here for me, and truly they were there for me. Even the sister, they were really there for me, checking me up with the pregnancy, the journey, and everything. You see, so I went back home, and I was still living at my father's house.
You were still in your father's house during the pregnancy?
Yes, he did.
Have you informed him?
No, the pregnancy is growing. I need to tell my dad. So this day my dad is taking tea. And I went in the sitting room and told my dad, he was wearing socks. Dad, I need to tell you something. I'm there, yes, I know. And I'm like, I'm pregnant. Then he wore his socks. Then he told me, how did you get pregnant? And then I'm just there seated. I remember my dad just told me, you went and looked for the pregnancy, but I don't want to see that stomach. If I ever find that stomach is not growing, you tell me where that child is. That is what my dad told me.
So he was just against abortion?
Yes. You went and looked for it. You will carry it to terms.
To the end.
To the end. But now him being a father, and sometimes maybe he felt I disappointed him in a way or something.
Yeah, being an intern.
Yes. I carried the pregnancy with, because my hubby was living with the sister, I carried the pregnancy most of the time alone. So, because sometimes you have some stupid cravings, and you need to understand the father of your child. He actually not lose. He'd sold things and resigned from his work for him to be able to go abroad. Then at the last minute, visa was denied. Here he is. He needs to recollect himself. Now there's a child involved. Recollecting himself financially, he needs to look for a job to be able to sustain us. So sometimes you don't demand because you understand the situation. So in the midst of everything, my dad decides he's moving. He's leaving me the house.
Now your dad is leaving you in a house. Was it rented?
It was rented. Then he kept telling me, the father of this child needs to come in, take responsibilities. I'm like, sometimes you just keep quiet. You yourself, the pregnancy is growing that you cannot go to work. You cannot go look for work. So I think God has a way of doing things. God has a way of showing up for his children. So there's this neighbor of mine who used to live next to us. We never used to talk. You see, when you're like a girl and you're up there, and
Yeah,
now
I can
pregnancy
imagine.
has humbled you.
Has come now.
Has humbled you.
You need to humble yourself.
You need to talk to everyone and anyone.
Yeah.
So I became a friend with this friend of a neighbor of ours. He was a guy, just a barobaro guy. We became friends. He was called Godi. So Godi used to sell shoes. So he was the one who used to check up on me. Because sometimes I would fall into depression. I felt like I was alone. Thought that, you know, sometimes your mind tends to tell you things that actually maybe they are there, maybe they are not. Your mind actually tends to use the situation you're in to keep telling you, see, now you're alone, your baby daddy doesn't have
But being
money.
an intern, your dad has now left. Yeah. And your
he's
baby
told
daddy...
me I need to pay for the house.
So he's leaving you in a house that is the rent you must pay.
Yeah.
He expects the baby daddy to be responsible for you and for the kid and for the house that he has left you in.
Yes.
And now you have this neighbor of
Yes.
yours that you're talking to, you're interacting with him and he's so friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, at this point...
And I'm living with my siblings.
You're
at the
living
same
with your
time.
siblings?
Yes. So I'll say whatever the father of my child, he really tried, because whatever little he'll get, he'll send me to buy food. Yes. I'll basically say, during my pregnancy, I was raised by strangers. People are not my family members per se.
Were you working at this point?
I was not working.
The belly is too big, you cannot.
I can't go to work. So I was in my own world. So I found a friend in this neighbor of mine. So I used to go and put all my frustrations, and he used to encourage me. Say, mimba si ugonjwa, you'll give birth, and yes. So I gave birth to a beautiful bouncing baby boy. And my dad actually came back, and he was the one who rushed me to the hospital during my labor pains. And I remember he told the doctor, I'm coming back for my daughter and my grandchild. You see, I think, let me say disappointment. It was disappointment, but now this is my daughter. There's nothing I can do about it.
There's that parents' love that is unconditional.
Yes. So he took me to the hospital, gave birth. Now I'm coming back with a child, and I find a warm reception from my neighbors, from this friend of mine, Godi, who really helped me a lot. And I remember I told Godi, I don't have anything to pay you. You're not my brother. You're not my relative. You're just somebody that is my neighbor, but you hold me emotionally. Finances are okay, but holding somebody, and that's why you see people commit suicide. And you wonder, these people are surrounded with money, with everything. Why commit suicide? If there's something money cannot buy, it's an emotional support.
Yeah, true,
you see.
very true.
So he held me through my emotions. You see, because when a woman is pregnant, you tend to have, your hormones are everywhere.
Yeah.
You cry, you wake up mad, you wake up, you love one person today, another minute you're hating that person. So he really understood me, and he walked with me through that emotional journey until I gave birth. So I come home, and I remember my dad told me, now the dad needs to take up responsibilities. So the father of my child, together with his cousin, they planned and they came home. So they came home and saw my dad. At least with nothing, with him having nothing, he tried and come home. He met my dad, and they talked and everything. So my big sister was living, was living alone. So this day, I felt like the pressure was so much from my dad. Sometimes he would wake up this and come, he's moved out. So he'll come with his maybe frustration as a father or something, I took you to school, you didn't even get work.
Even after you've already given birth?
Yeah. So this day I decided, do you know what? I told my younger sisters, let me leave. at least you guys, when you're here, Daddy won't give me pressure. So my dad never knew why I left home. It's because of the pressure. So I called my sister, my big sister, and I'm telling my sister that I want to come and stay for you for a while because the father of my child is not stable. Let me come and stay with you with this child of mine. At least by the time, give us a few months, I know I'll have my place. So my sisters welcomes me in our own home.
So now you're here, you've already given birth,
yeah.
and your dad is now pressuring you, and now you decide to move out, but without informing him.
Yeah. So but I left my other young siblings because I knew if I leave this, see my younger siblings are still, he needs to pay for the rent,
Yeah, so even before then you were paying for the rent and taking care of the rest of the siblings.
I was living with my dad, but you see the pressure of you need to tell this man to come take responsibility. I cannot be able to take care of you, and I take care of his own child.
And yet you understand how your husband is.
And there's some things you cannot go and talk to a parent, he doesn't have a job, because you're trying to build his ego. You cannot go share. You need to secure his ego because I don't want him to come and one day he comes back home and he's being looked at some kind of a way. So I'll just keep quiet and take in some stuffs.
That was so courageous.
You see, so I woke up and said, you know what, this child is mine. The dad is there, not that he's rejected him. Let me secure an emotional place for myself with this child. You see, so I went and lived with my sister. And at some point I feel like maybe I invaded my sister's privacy because I just stayed with my sister for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if I can remember well. Then my sister tells me that his landlord, the owner of the house, he's complaining he doesn't want to see new people around. I'm like,
new people?
I am not getting this. So he told me, he asked me, what has the father of your child said? It's okay, sometimes you understand when somebody comes in an indirect way of telling you,
you need to go out.
You see. So that's how I got married. So I took my child and I called the father of my child and I told him the situation that is here at my sister's place. So I went and moved in with the father of my child to his sister's place.
So your sister-in-law has hosted your husband, you and your kid.
Yes.
After moving out of your father's house, your sister's house, now you're officially married.
Yes.
But in your sister's-in-law's house.
Yes.
Wow, it must have been a journey.
Yes. So I wouldn't complain so much about, I thank God that God gave me the most wonderful sister-in-law and may God bless her soul.
Amen.
So I lived with my sister-in-law and my sister-in-law was married. So you can know, in me I felt that we've invaded her marriage, their privacy, you see. So I stayed with my sister-in-law for around, I think, 2 months. Then I decided, let me go. So, because my husband told me, you go. Can you go to go live with my mom? At least I secure myself. I build myself that I'll come and take you guys.
Now was your baby daddy working or?
He was looking for some odd jobs.
Jobs here and there.
Yes. Okay. So that's how I boarded a bus to Kisumu, meeting for the first time my mother-in-law with a child. So you're going to meet a stranger you don't know.
Yeah, and you're going to live with them.
Yes.
With the baby.
Yes.
Now, did he accompany you or?
No, he didn't accompany me because he was doing some odd jobs. So it just got a ticket for me and my child, and I was told, when you fika Kisumu, I've never been to Kisumu, this is the number that you call. So my mother-in-law was expecting me too.
And how old was the baby?
My child was around, was it 5 months? Yes, my child was around 5 months.
5 months?
Because he was not the winning stage. He'd not hit the winning stage. So I went, and that's how I met my mother-in-law. Now I need to bond with this
her.
stranger, my mother-in-law, as a daughter-in-law, and there's a child that is involved. And I need to know, you know, when you're being introduced to the mother-in-law, to the mother-in-law to be, and you're going for visit, maybe your fiancé or your boyfriend is taking you to their place, you get familiar with the family before you hit the stage of marriage.
So you had to skip that
I was married and I was meeting my mother.
With the child.
With
her grandson.
With her grandson. And my mother-in-law was happy. And people complain about mother-in-laws, but I had the best mother-in-law. I will never sit on this seat and say anything bad about her. Yes, we have misunderstandings that there's human beings, but
true.
she treated me like her own. And she sincerely welcomed me and loved and gave me a warmly place. And in the moment, even my mind had settled because of the reception that I received. And I stayed with my mother-in-law for close to 2 years. One year, going to 2 years, so that's when I came back to Nairobi.
To Nairobi, okay.
Yes, and I left my mother-in-law with my child.
Okay, so you went with the kid and now...
And I left my mother-in-law because I need to come back and
work.
I have a career. It's not that I got pregnant while I was in Form 4 or this. I got pregnant working. So I told my mother-in-law, let me go to Nairobi and help Ibrahim. We secure a place for ourselves. So I went to Nairobi, went back and lived with my sister-in-law. We are trying to secure a place until at least we got, he'd saved a few amount of money that we could be able to get our own space. And my sister-in-law blessed me with a few things of the house, and that's how I started my marriage life. In a single room with I remember our carpet was green and it had a teddy bear in the middle. So we went there. That night, while we were going to our home, a single room home, that's when we bought a mattress that night. We didn't even have a mattress. And a stove and the few plates that we'd been given and some basins. That's how
Just to take you a bit behind, so during these 2 years that you have stayed with your mother-in-law, and as you have said,
actually I stayed with my mother-in-law for close to a year. Yes.
For that time that you have stayed with her, so how was Ibrahim? He was communicating? Or he was coming?
Yeah, he was communicating. He was coming at some point to check up on us. He was a wonderful guy. That's why I'll say I'll not sit on this seat and talk shit about him, because he was nice. If there's if there's a man that I've ever met that was nice to me, was him. You see. So fast forward things, that's we ended up starting our lives as couples.
Now you have started your life officially.
Yes. Living with him. And now you need to know him now, because you're sleeping on the same bed with him, you're entering the same house. The space was him. Now you need to start knowing the do's and the don'ts. No, and you see where you're told that you need to go for marriage counseling, but I would always say, as much as people go for marriage counseling, marriage is when you live with somebody and you even forget the counseling you went through, that you're living with the real person. You see. So I lived with Ibrahim, and it was the best moment. We had fun in our own little space, and we grew slowly by slowly growing professional, because he was a civil engineer too, like me. Growing professionally, advising each other, fighting as couples, mending issues as couples, rewriting our New Year's resolution, none of them which you never met. But he was my best friend. You see, he was my best, that I could turn and tell him anything, my dreams and everything. So I genuinely, deeply loved him, for sure. Because I found a friend, us growing together and going through the issues of life, and growing and losing stuffs and you see, and going back to living with our sister-in-law because we lost everything again. Then we went back and lived with my sister-in-law to house us for a while, because now there is there is no more job. We've lost, our things have been auctioned and everything.
What?
But we walked the journey together. Every journey with him, we walked together.
Now the good thing is that you were together. That was
Yes.
the only
Yeah.
positivity in everything.
Yes. So in the midst of everything, my second child was born, a girl. And we were so excited because we'd prayed for a child, for a girl. And we are so excited. So doors started opening up for him, because I personally am a prayerful person, and I used to pray a lot for him, hold his hand and speak to his life, and speak goodness. You prophesy. You see, you say you are your own prophet.
Yeah.
You prophesy. I used to tell him, you're going far. I see you becoming visionary. Yani, I see you becoming, you have potential and everything. So he landed a very good job, and which it gave us, it came with an insurance, family insurance. So in the midst of everything, my second born child was born, and we were living together. So we'd even graduated from a single room to a bed sitter to a one bedroom. Now we are living in a 2-bedroom.
So you had already taken your first son?
Yes, we'd already taken our first son, our first child. We'd secured him a spot in a very good school that we wanted him to go to. So we were living together now as a family.
So now life has turned around and you've started living a good life that you wished for a very long time.
For a very long time. Having gone through, having all Madenis around, Mama Mboga, you've coppered there, you use another route so that you can copper here. And sometimes we used to laugh about to our budget that cooking oil for 10 shillings. This is a budget, supposed to budget for maybe 200 shillings, 100 shillings. Unga ya kupima nusu, half a kg. Then he tells me, since we don't have nyanya, you go copper to this, may go copper this side. So you see.
So you were surviving on a 100, 200 shilling budget.
Sometimes.
And you have a son you are raising?
No, that time we'd not taken our son.
No, okay, he's at home, but you're
Yeah, he's at home now. We are living together as two people, as husband and wife. And we are trying to, we are youngsters. You know, there's even, you need to go at least for party. You say, hey, leo wacha tukajibambe kidogo. Hii maisha isituleme hivi. So we basically grew together from having nothing.
Yeah, you must have been very patient.
I was very patient, and I could see I used to tell him, there's something in you that you carry. You have greatness in you. You just need to focus on one direction. There's a door that is going to open. You see.
Yeah.
So doors opened, and we were able to take our second child. We moved in together with our first child. So the second child was born while we had secured, we'd taken our first child. So we got a second child. We are living in a 2-bedroom. He's working in an NGO, and money is good and everything. But one thing I'll say, when money was started coming in, there are behaviors that you start seeing. You see. Then you're trying to tell him, let's save. Don't be fooled with this little that you don't save for the future. Mark you, my husband used to leave me his ATM cards. I knew all his PIN. But do you know what? I never used his money for clothes, for makeup, for nini, because back at my mind, I knew he's left me these ATM cards. Mine is to expand and build this money. Yeah, so I never used to, when you say that ati niliachia msichana ATM karibu, I was visionary. Let us save. Let us, and I'm a very budgetary kind of a girl. I work with budget. So I know this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, and this money needs to be, we will use it for savings, because I wanted us to grow.
Yeah.
And I started telling him, because he used to fly to work, come visit us back. So I used to tell him, can we open our company, because I think I'm tired of sitting in the house, and we've done the same course. I will be able to run the company together.
Okay,
I
yeah.
kept pushing him, pushing him, pushing him.
Uh-huh.
So I'll open. And no, I feel in my spirit that we should start something for ourselves, the two of us. We build it as we build, as
Yeah,
we grow.
As we grow.
So he kept postponing. So in 2018, my daughter was born, and it was a nice moment for us, and we really enjoyed each other.
So this is your third child?
My second child,
second.
2018.
Oh, okay.
My daughter was born in 2018. So we are still living together. Life is good. My husband was the best. He had a soft, I would say he had a soft spot in my heart. You see. But in the midst of me giving birth and we are raising a daughter, and he'd gotten a good job with an NGO, he started partying and going out, and at some point I felt jealous because I'm like, you're leaving me here, I have a child, and you're going out partying, and I'm trying to tell you, can you save? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed. I'm not refuting you going out and having fun, but are you having fun knowing that you're saving for tomorrow? So in 2018, when the year was almost ending, he was fired from the work.
What? Even after telling him to save and everything?
And he had friends. I'll say, and I'll speak boldly, my husband had fake friends. Friends who are pests. You see people who twende tukakunywe pesa yako. They drain your pocket very well.
On him.
You see, they drain your pocket very well. I remember he even used to complain when he was broke. You see, hey babe, you've been telling me about my friends. Now I see what you've been telling me, but I'm like, you always say that when you're broke. But when the money comes in right now, whatever we are speaking, you will drop it and still go. They even used to tell me now I've learned a lesson. My lesson.
Every time he has money, he has learned the lesson, and then when he gets money, he forgets.
This is brokenness talking. And in 2018, I remember we had arrears of 2 months arrears. And our things were auctioned.
Again?
All of it. Everything was taken away. Things that you've worked hard to build. Beds for the kids. The only thing that I was remained with was my bed and some jerry cans and some utensils. The fridge was gone.
A two-bedroom house
gone. Yeah, the seats were gone. You see, he was even calling his friends just to, hey bro, suni help na doni nini. They were not sending money.
They were only there for partying.
They even changed where they were drinking.
Wow.
You see?
Just because he's now gone through the floor again, now he's to zero.
Yes. So when we were leaving our house, and I remember we even had to, because I left, when we were auctioned our things, we needed a place.
Yeah.
So I remember our former landlord, we used to live in a bedsitter. Our former landlord was very nice. So we went back and he gave us one of the space that he had with just a deposit. Then we can be paying rent, you see. So we got money for deposit. We went, at least secured the little things we had, the bed, the kids' stuffs, mango,
now you have
clothes.
2 kids.
Yes.
2 people here.
Yes.
And you have lost a job.
Yes.
Friends
Makiu, my son is not going to school because school fees was not paid. So he's at home. So we had to, because the grandmother to my children really loved his grandson. So we again gave him our son to stay with. So I remained with my daughter because my daughter was still breastfeeding. So I gave my son to go with to be with my to be with my mother-in-law. So I was remained with him, the daughter,
now
and
the son
myself.
went and secured another place in school?
No.
There?
he went to Kisumu. In Kisumu, at least schools are not expensive. And my sister-in-law really helped us to secure him a place in school there so that he won't stay at home. So we took him to... remember when we were taking my son from my mother-in-law, he'd already started school in Kisumu. So when we took him, we just came and transferred him to another school in Nairobi. Then we are hit with this calamity again. We need to take him back. So my mother-in-law, since he had a good relationship with the former school, they took him back. They took him back because we didn't want him to miss graduation, him graduating to grade 1, you see. So they took him back in 3rd term. So you remember these 2 terms, he'd missed school. Yeah. So my son actually went to Kisumu 3rd term. And
it was actually 2 terms that you were facing all these things. Yes. He had not gone to school, you had arrears. Yes. And your things were auctioned. Yes. And now he had to go back to the grandmother. Yes. Wow. And to go back and to be, at least they secured him the former school that he was in while he was in Kisumu, so they took him back. But now he was like, he missed 2 times, he just went through 3rd term and sat for exams to go to grade 1. So they took him and we were left with my husband and the daughter and myself. So in the midst of everything, even the bedsitter was a problem to pay. And I kept telling my husband, you have very fake friends. And the day you'll ever wake up and just choose your family over everything, you'll go far. You will go far. You see, these friends that you keep carrying, oh, they are my friends, we've known each other for so long. I say, yes, it is okay. But would you learn to draw boundaries? Know when? Because if God wants to take you somewhere, you need to, God allows you for you to shed other people, whether they are friends, whether they are family. You need to shed them off, not because you hate them, because the journey that you're going will not require them. Yeah, true. And I kept telling him that, you see, I'm not telling you not to be their friends. What I'm telling you is that I wish you open your eyes and see what I'm seeing so that you can be able to know which friends. I always say friends that you leave at the gate, friends that you enter the sitting rooms, now the friends that you can give access to the bedroom. At least you trust them so much that you can give them access to your bedroom. In short, any private. Yeah. So in us living in the bedsitter, I remember in the toilet I cried to God and told God, I feel I'm tired. And I feel like I'm giving up, you see. Yeah. And I'm tired of all this. And I have a daughter here, Lord, I don't know what to do. I can't even afford to take him to a daycare. At that time, you're not even working?
I'm not even working. Work, mark you, I've been getting work, opportunities to work, but I was young and I felt like I have a young family. Let me first, work can wait for me so that I can raise my family and I'll be able to go and pick up.
So for you,
I used to bring my family first. That I learned you can juggle everything, you see. So in the midst of everything, we are not able to pay for the bedsitter. And I remember this day I was praying in the toilet and the Holy Spirit told me, wake up, dust your feet and leave. And I went and woke him up and I told him, the Holy Spirit is telling us to wake up, we dust out, and we leave this place. We go start life somewhere else. And me telling him the next week, the landlord is telling him, I don't want you in my house, I want you guys to leave.
So this landlord who you said was friendly, now and it's a bed sitter. Yes. With a young daughter who's still breastfeeding. Yes. Now you are out of the place. You are going out to somewhere that you don't know, or did you have a plan?
Let me tell you something. I remember my husband told me, you know, one of my friends will keep our things for us. I'm like, no, you don't have. Will you just wake up and see you don't have friends? I remember he woke up in the morning and called his friends and all their phones were off. So the little things that I was left with, we had to give them out for free.
For free, you did not even
none of his friends that he was drinking with couldn't even did not even want to put a spoon for us. The ones that was calling my friends. No one picked his phone.
Now you're here all alone with a daughter stranded?
Yes. The only thing we had, I don't know whether he removed, I don't know whether he got, my sister, my own sister, the one that I was living with earlier, that he told me my landlord is complaining, I asked him for fare. I borrowed fare from him. So my husband went, the only things that we could not give out were our clothes. He went and asked another just random friend of him if he could keep our clothes, we will come for them, you see. So he allowed to keep our clothes. The rest of the things, the bed, the utensils, everything. The only thing that I secured were my kids' clothes, my daughter, because I carried a small bag, and my daughter, and I walked out.
So
6 in the morning. I am going back to my sister's-in-law's place.
Oh, your sisters-in-law who had held
Earlier,
you
held
during your internship when you were knowing your husband. The first time your things were auctioned, you went back to her, and now this time you had grown even into a 2-bedroom, but now you're back to zero, and now you're back to her again.
Yes. So that was in 2019. So 2019, we are living with my sister, and my sister-in-law Pia was going through her own personal issues. So in 2019, he secured a job, but now parting again.
He's not
in the midst of
a
everything, because when he secured a job, we wanted to buy, because you remember we don't have anything.
Yeah, you're living with your sister-in-law.
And we had, the only thing we had were the clothes that we'd already
left.
We took from his random friend, came back with he brought them back to our sisters-in-law's place. So, in 2019, we are living with my sister-in-law. You see, I always believe, and I will sit and I stand corrected, is that God speaks to us in so many ways, especially in dreams. So in 2019, we are still living with my sister, and God keeps showing me three consecutive, one dream that I've dreamt in the first day, I refute the dream. The second day, the third day, and then I wake up and tell God, "Hey God, I've been dreaming and I've been seeing my husband is having an affair." And I'm like, is it me or is just the dream? But I felt the conviction in my spirit. So this day, night, I went to the sitting room to take water. It was around 2, almost to 3. He'd left his phone. You remember his phone as a password. He'd left his phone. So me, I was taking water, and I decided, let me go check what's the time, nijue nimeamka saa ngapi. So you remember, his phone has a
password, yeah.
But when I opened and WhatsApp messages, that's when I realized he's involved with this girl. I went and told him, even before I went and checked there.
Now you're in your sister's
in-law's place.
House.
So even before I checked I intentionally lived with my husband. I like that. Not even my phone is my phone. I never used to check on his phone because we had a very good relationship with him. So the second day I'm telling my husband, I've been having a bad dream, and in this dream I'm seeing you having an affair. But I feel, and I told him, please, if what I'm dreaming is true, please leave this girl, because this girl that I'm seeing, I see chaos. My spirit is not right.
So you
and my husband knew I was very spiritual. Spiritual in a sense that I say that I listen to the Holy Spirit speaks to us. And it speaks to everyone.
Yeah.
So that is the second day I'm telling you, I've been dreaming. This is the second day. I'm seeing you involved. Babe, it's just a dream. The third day. So the fourth day, I wake up in the middle of the night, around 2 something. go take water. But me, in my mind, I was, let me check what's the time. It was
That
almost
was the
going
only
to
thing
3.
you were checking for, the time.
Because his phone had a
Password.
password.
Yeah.
So when I'm checking it, and I'm like, it's open, then I'm telling you for the truth. Holy Spirit's telling me check his file. Phone, file, I go to file. Then, kumbe, the conversation that he's making with this woman, I don't know whether he knew they were the phone used to save them. I don't know whether it was God giving, I wouldn't know. So I listened to their conversation. You see, him telling the lady that, oh, I know it's your birthday, I'll do something for you. Maki, we don't even have our own place.
Yeah.
And the lady says, sinasikia uko na wife, and then he's telling, kwani mama tadu?
What?
I'm like,
The lady even knows that he's married.
This friend, this lady, they were, you see, workmates. Where a workmate who is married comes with another lady. Then this other lady carries the friend.
Yeah.
Then they meet my husband and the friend. Then you see where men say, dem ako peke yake, so you hook up. That's how. And they were all colleagues and workmates. So I confronted him, and he told me, it was Nini, but he doesn't know I've seen the chat text. I was so broken.
So what did he tell you after you
You
asked?
see where you say love is blind. You forgive. You say you speak and it's okay. I've forgiven you, but deep down, I feel like this person tumetoka naye mbali. Let me just forgive. And the fact that me being a Christian and everything, forgiveness is key. So I forgave, but I was broken. I remember I even called the sister-in-law and I told, oh, your brother is doing this, nini. So this lady gets her number. I don't know where he got my number. Then I received a call, then he started insulting me. I'm like,
this girl that he's cheating with is actually calling you and being rude to you.
Yes, so I became so mad. I'm like, do you not even know about this you before you even start calling me? So abuse, and I said, do you know what, God? Jesus, sit aside. Let me deal with this. So we exchanged. So I blocked her on my WhatsApp. She still finds another number, and you see, the lady's even sending me pictures them kissing with my husband. I'm like, then he's showing me the middle finger. You wait for him in that house. You're so ugly, nini. So my husband comes in, I'm like, this is the type of person you're looking for. I remember when, I don't know whether it was the truth or just the lady playing mind games with me, he's even here with me. You see,
so he knows what I'm doing to you.
Yeah, unaona. He's even here with me. Unaona. So the lady is WhatsApping my husband that he give us permission to kuchapie bibi. I asked my husband, this is somebody that is asking for permission to hurt me. I've not even done anything to you. If this person finds you with another person, would you think you will survive in their hands? You see, babe, I've left the relationship, nini. I'm like, I told him, make a choice. It's okay. Okay, relationships do break, but what do you want? Oh, you've been my family. I know, yes, I understand, but what exactly do you want as a person?
And at this point, you're still living
with my sister-in-law.
With your sister-in-law?
Yes.
And does this side chick know the real situation?
Kwanza what she told me, and furthermore, he's even paying my rent in Rongai. I laughed my lungs out. I'm like, he's paying rent in Rongai. Good, because me, I know.
He doesn't have anything.
You see, so when my husband told the lady off, the lady now is frustrated, is coming to me.
Oh, so after he cuts...
your husband is a fool. So I was asking, kwanza he eats me like a goat. So I was asking him. So I asked the lady, when you're kissing that lips, You didn't know he was eating Mira. You see.
Yeah.
When you're, now that he's told you the relationship is over, why are you attacking me? You should be attacking the person that you
That
were in a
broke your
relationship
heart.
with.
Yeah.
You see, so I asked my husband, this is the kind of lady you're looking for. It is okay, you can have her. Good riddance, you see. So he apologized and everything. We got a privilege of moving to our own place in
During that
2020. In 2020, when there was now the pandemic, before it hit Africa. So we started our lives afresh again. And I remember when we entered our house, I told God, God, I need to see you. I need to see you because I read about you, I've heard about you, but I need to see you. Restore everything that I've lost. In a span of 3 months, God had filled my house. Like everything, seats, everything.
Now you're working or is
I'm not yet working.
Uh-huh.
My husband has opened a company. He's come and told me the good news, nini nini. So he's even told me you're going to be one of the directors. I'm like, finally, we can be able to build this. You see.
Yeah.
So we moved. We were living in a 2-bedroom, and now Maki, we'd already taken our son. Enrolled him to a new school, a good school. Money is coming and everything. So in 2020, I was nursing. The mom got sick, and fortunately, my mother-in-law passed. And 1 year down the line, I'm still living with my husband, and we had a very good relationship. If anyone who knew us would say, me and Nani and my husband, we are very good friends. So this day, 2020, 2021, 2020 the mom died, we buried the mom. 2021, I need to hold him because he's grieving and everything. Hold him, walk with him, the journey of losing the mother. Even me, I'm mourning because my mother-in-law was a very good person to me. You see, we've lost a loved one. So coming this year, 2022, my husband's company is picking very well. And I remember he used to tell me, babe, I'm going for an interview. He doesn't know, I used to wake up, fast and pray for the contracts. And he'll just come and tell me I've been given the contract. And I'm like, thank you, God.
Wow.
You see. I wake up, before he leaves the house, I will speak goodness. Whatever you're going to do, you will get it. I spoke life upon him. I prophesied. I saw him now growing. The company is growing, and I'm like, and he's buying construction materials, nini, and he never knew, but he knew I used to pray for him because anything he wanted, and I think he knew it, anything he wanted, he would bring it to me. Babe, can you speak something? And then I'll say, if it's yours, you go get it, and you'll come back having it.
Yeah.
You see.
So you were working on your knees day in, day out.
So that I can be able to, because to me, I was putting in the tears behind the camera, yani behind the scene, putting in the tears, the prayers, the prophesy, nini.
Yeah.
He's going there outside winning, but I'm behind the scene. You see, doing the everything.
And everything.
So he comes and tells me, how do you see the company profile? I'm like, can you change this word? Can you do this? I basically build his company behind the scenes.
You are actually managing it, but not in the office.
He never even used to have an office, you see. Because I used to tell him, write down what you want, your dreams, tick them one by one. Whatever the Lord has done for you, tick it, tick it, tick it. What do you want? Write them down. So anything that you've already, you've managed to get upon your prayer items, go tick them. My husband was not a spiritual person, but growing with him, he started believing in God. You see, and him seeing that we are a product of grace of God, at least he said, now I've seen the sense in what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So, when we were in 2020, this year, January, I meet one of his rare friends. And the first day I met my husband's friend, my spirit was off. I tell my husband, no, there's something wrong with this person. I don't know why I keep seeing trouble. please stop this friendship. I don't know.
With that person.
Yeah, and you is not one of the friends that I know. This is a new friend that my husband, I don't know where he got that friend. I don't know whether they met in the pub. I don't know where the relationship started. Honestly speaking, I don't know where the relationship started. So I've been hanging around and
Is it a lady or a guy?
No, a man. So I'm meeting this friend of his, but as much as we're hanging around him, I'm like, no. I keep telling him in the bedroom, I don't feel this friend of yours.
So the first time you meet him is the first time you feel
see,
like,
yeah.
no.
But who are men? I realized his ego, his character, my husband's character is changing, and now he's not coming home. Yani, he never knew, he knew that I know he used to lie. So this friend of him, one day, he gets arrested and he stays, he's been confined in a prison. Then my husband is working very hard to help him get him out. But I asked my husband, the wife of this friend doesn't give
He's
up.
not concerned.
The parents, the brothers, no one doesn't want to help him. Why you? Can you please take a chill pill and take a sit back? Why? You know, the wife has just neglected him. It's because he's telling you that. But we women, we never neglect the people we love.
True, very
you see,
true.
we never neglect. But why? Why? I feel there's something off. So he helps him out of prison. And the friend, you know, I keep seeing frequently. But I even warned him, there's something wrong. I feel in my spirit. God is trying to tell him, no.
But
In the midst of everything, I didn't know that he started coming home late, drinking off hours, coming home at 9, but deep down in my spirit, I knew maybe he's cheating, but I don't come to terms to it. Maybe he's having someone. I even told him, whoever is keeping you outside this late, I hope what you're doing, you know what you're doing, you know, because there's a time I told him, you remember I'm a prayerful person, and if I want God to show me, he'll show me what's going on.
Yeah.
So, that is January, February, March. I used to live with my younger sister. I used to host him for a while because she's young. I wake up with a very strange dream. And I even tell my sister, Ibrahim is having an affair. I've seen it in my dream. I've even described the skin color of the lady.
This is
the
the
shape.
young girl?
I'm telling my sister. I've dreamt it 3 times.
3 times.
You remember I dreamt
Again.
another dream. Now this dream, I'm dreaming now. God has even shown me the color of this girl. I'm even telling my sister, this girl is dark and she's slim. But what now I'm seeing is my kids are involved. And I see trouble. And I told my sister, trouble is coming. I feel it in my spirit. Whoever Ibrahim is involved with, this lady, there is trouble. Then my sister asked me, have you prayed about it? I told my sister, no, I will not lie to you. I think I'm tired. The only thing I told God, I don't know what you keep showing me this, but God, I'm tired. I don't know who my husband is involved with. Whoever she is, Lord, I am ready. But one thing I pray to you, God, hold me through the season that is coming. And hold my kids. I see my kids involved. And there's chaos, kuvutana, you see.
Yeah.
And I'm even telling my husband in the dreams, this lady is trouble, you see. But it found us. One day I was telling him, babe, that is after the dream. Babe, not every young lady you see around here carries the favor of God.
Yeah.
Some are death traps. Why are you telling me that? I mean, I just feel to tell you that some are death traps. Be very careful. We are all beautiful in our own ways, but not everyone you see around, not every skirt you see around you go chasing. Some are destiny killers.
Yeah.
I'm telling him confidently. And he said, he goes, that is January, February, March.
So that is the only reaction?
March. Yeah. I'm telling him with the content. This round, I didn't tell him about the dream. Whoever I told was my sister. And my sister told me, have you prayed? I'm not sending Holy Ghost fire. Do this, do that. I am tired. Whatever is coming, I just pray that may God walk with me the journey. And I remember well, this day I was sitting on my bed and I was reading, I don't know whether I was reading the Bible or I was listening to a sermon. Then I remember a voice spoke to me and told me, walk right with me, I will honor you. And I'm like, you see when you are alone in the house and a voice has spoken clearly and you have heard that voice.
Yeah, it is speaking to you.
Then I told God, walking right with you is not very easy, but give me the grace. I don't know why you've told me this. Then 3 weeks down the line, that is March, April, the kids closed these long holidays. I took the kids to my sister-in-law so that they can bond and have time and everything so that we can have time, the both of us, me and him, because that was the idea. But we never had that time because he used to come. Oh, I'm working home. Oh, babe, I'll be late.
Wow.
I'm outside. This day I called in the middle of the night. He didn't pick. I think somebody